wake up, it's the morning. Wake up, the day is dawning. Wake up, it's time to start the day. So everybody's gotta wake up, wake up, wake up. It's the morning. Wake up, the day is dawning. Wake up, it's time to spill some tea. So everybody's gotta wake up, wake up.
Hi everybody, welcome to Wake Up with T. Oliver. I'm T. Oliver Reid, your host, and yes, you have seen me in multiple Tony Award-winning musicals on Broadway, but now you get to see me sit down virtually with friends, peers, and colleagues while we discuss Broadway, life, and beyond. So let's get to talking. Episode 3, Find Me My Golden Tones. There they are. Our guest today is 7-time Tony nominee, friend of mine for many, many years, and one of the most delightful women you will ever meet. Please help me welcome Tony winner, Kelli O'Hara. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my friend, Broadway star and all-around just exceptional person, Tony Award winner, Kelli O'Hara. How are you, love?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing pretty well. I realized fairly early on after the first 2 weeks in pandemic mode and we did all of our spring cleaning that I am much more of an introvert with extrovert tendencies. So I've been kind of okay being in the apartment for the past 8 weeks with my fiance. How are you doing?
I feel the same way. I feel like there are definitely social butterflies in the world, and as much as I kind of am one and I enjoy it when it's part of my life, I'm actually okay with this. I love being with my family. I kind of love being in this tight, closed, warm, and safe situation, and knowing that we're okay. And there are days when, of course, I want to scream, but we're okay.
Good. How many little ones do you guys have?
I have a 10-year-old son and a 6-year-old daughter.
Okay, cool. So at least like for that, there's a one-on-one dynamic when you need to do certain things. I mean, like I think people have 3 or 4 kids and they're just 2 of them trying to maintain with school and trying to keep them focused on anything except being in the house for 24 hours a day must be a little crazy.
It is crazy, but my 10-year-old, almost 11-year-old, he is incredibly independent. And so he gets on, I have to hand it to all these teachers and all these educators who have really stepped up. Some of them never signing up for this kind of teaching, but they've sent out all of these really creative and imaginative things. And he gets on the computer every morning and he does his work, and he works so hard half of the day. And my daughter, my first grader, it's a little different, but it gives me a lot of pride to be able to help her and to, I'm learning with her at the same time and encouraging her, and we're learning each other in a different way now.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, and for you, because again, you're someone who is always working. I mean, you have television, Metropolitan Opera, Broadway. It's like, and concerts and everything else. Like you're always working. How has this time been for you to sort of take that pause, to have time with your family, and to let everyone else's artistry sort of fade away so that you can just have your moment as Kelli O'Hara?
Well, listen, I think we all really don't really get to know ourselves until the need is there, unless we're really studying and working, which I try to in my life. I really try to be aware of who I am and what kind of thing I'm, and what kind of mental health I am giving myself, the opportunities for that. And I think if you would have asked me before this happened, I might have been thinking I was being honest with myself by saying I couldn't live without it. I know myself. I complain about not being home all the time when my kids are the most important thing in my life, but I need to be out there singing on a stage. I need that thing. Well, I tell you, I've learned a lot, and it actually makes me happy. I've learned about myself that I do love being home. I do love being a mom and being with my kids and taking care of them. But just connecting like this, or doing these little songs, virtually, and then I send them in. I mean, I sing them by myself, or I do a Zoom with somebody. It's actually enough almost. Now, it's not financially enough.
No.
But there's an artistic I don't know, the adrenaline rushes, my face turns red. I feel that rush of making art or making some sort of music. And I actually get fed in a weird way. I don't need to be on the stage. I miss it and I can't wait to do it again. But right now, I'm actually happy that I feel comfortable, with this.
Good. And you were saying like you all are also getting ready to move from one location that I'm assuming like your kids have known for their lives. That's where they've been. So you guys are going to a new place. And wait, I want to ask you where you live, and I think I know where you live, but I don't want to say it because I don't want people going out looking for Kelli O'Hara. But you guys were near where there was a kind of a shutdown of the city for a while, right at the beginning.
Yeah, we had. I think it really actually benefited our town because we had an early one of those super party cases.
Yeah.
What they're calling them now, where one person brought in and 80 people get sick, and so what happened with our town, and again, I have to hand it to the officials and the people like that who kind of jumped on it. We shut down in a certain way. And this is 10 weeks ago today that my kids didn't go back to school. And they said, we're going to go to masks. We're going to go to social distancing. All the businesses are closed. You're going to go home. We're going to get the schools going that way. And honestly, it's shut down the spreading in our town. We've had very few deaths and not a lot of illnesses after that. And I think that's a good thing because people just got the wind of it and did something about it real fast.
Mm-hmm. That's craziness. But it's amazing how quickly, I mean, it doesn't seem like it's been quickly, but the numbers are going down, and the idea of us, the fact is like we should have all been washing our hands as many times as we're washing our hands now, and just things that we have gotten used to not doing, and taking care of ourselves so that we can take care of those around us who may have some type of health issues, or may be older or maybe younger, but that we're actually looking out and are good citizens.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was watching the news the other day, and there was this. It was a Republican governor. So let's not. This doesn't. I don't understand how this can be a bipartisan thing. I mean, a partisan thing. Yeah. It is not up for debate. Yeah. It is affecting everybody. And this governor, he started to cry in this press conference because he said, I'm not asking you to wear a mask because it's against your freedom, or it's telling you to do something that you don't want to do because it's your body. Maybe someone wants you to wear a mask because their 5-year-old is going through cancer treatments. Yes. Maybe their 80-year-old mother, is right there in the room. It's not always just about you, and he got very emotional, and it just really showed me that it may seem, sometimes I have to shut off the news sometimes because I get really down about why we want to live in a world right now where what you think is okay. Like your facts are your facts and you can make it work. Well, we're all in this together. And that particular governor was really moving to me because he's just a human being and he's telling it like it is,
Yeah, and the thing for me, it's like whether you're a Republican or a Democrat or anywhere in the middle, it's like we should really be looking out for what is going to be the betterment of all Americans, all human beings, making sure that we all have some type of health coverage, whatever you want to call it, making sure that people are living above, the median line for how much you have to be making not to be considered poor, so that we all have all these things. Hi, little one. I hear somebody in the room.
Yeah, sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry. Give me a couple minutes. Nope.
That's
what it is. I mean, they're not climbing on my head, but sweetie, do you mind shutting the door back? Love you. Anyway, go on.
But yeah, these are things that I think we have to now look at, that we've just assumed over the years that someone was taking the mantle of making sure these things were safe for each of us, and that we were being looked after in Washington, and we're saying that we're not. And part of this series for me is like, I want to be able to talk about the three things that we're always told not to: politics, religion, and equity, so that we can talk about those things, and for people to see who they know as Broadway celebrities and stars, that everyone is a human being, and everyone's living and trying to figure this out with families and with what's going to happen over the next year, and just that day in, day out. And so that gets me to the next thing for you. It's like, what is the day in, day out for you, for as far as taking care of Kelli, taking care of The Voice, and also with everything else going on around your life?
I'll be really honest with you. I mean, I'm trying to send in these videos or do these virtual things because I want to stay a part of our community and I want to help. Like I've been doing some fundraising and different things, but I'm not thinking of it as, oh gosh, I'm going to keep my voice going, because I do feel like it's that moment right now, T, where there's so much more to think about than just me and how we're dealing, and I do get a little heavy with, well, really heavy with. I think that let's talk about the politics. Let's talk about it. I think I was probably really naive the way I was raised, where certain things aren't up for debate. Human rights, human nature, human care, it's not up for debate, to me. So I don't understand where we got to this place where there's like me. I'm just going to think about me and make sure that, I'm where I need to be and the rest of it doesn't matter. And all of a sudden in the last several years, it's like all of these things are coming out of the woodwork, and these people that were always there, but I wish they'd go back in their hole.
Yeah, for sure.
And that it's okay because it's made to be okay. And that breaks my heart, because at least I feel like, now do you edit this at all? Because
I mean, yeah, I will. I mean, if there's something you're like,
you can, well, maybe there is, but my child came and opened the door and left it open, and the TV's playing in the other room. So I'm going to shut the door so this can, all right, I'm so sorry about that.
No worries.
Can you turn the TV down, honey? Please, Charlotte, just a little bit more.
This is real life. This is what happens. I mean, it's like, that thing is like you're not only, Kelli O'Hara, the Broadway star, you're Kelli O'Hara, your mom. You have things that you have to do. It's like, this is what life is. And the fact, that you're juggling all of the things, even now during this time. And yeah, it's like, this is such a huge part of what I want people to see of everyone. So it doesn't seem like, you're so far away up on this pedestal, but you're this amazing woman who grew up in Oklahoma, who made her way to New York, who found stardom and has worked extremely hard, has this family, and all these things are happening. And now we're in the middle of a pandemic that sort of puts us in a place that we can pause and look at politics and look at the people who are working for us and see the ones who are not. And in November and over the next election cycles, to be able to fix that, because our vote is how we fix the problems when we see them.
Yeah, but my frustration and great despair, to be honest, is it seems like to me, or at least I thought, or I hoped, or I was taught somehow, that the majority of us wanted what you're talking about. Because what society doesn't know isn't better when it's each of its individual members of that society are their best. What society doesn't better itself by making sure the individual members aren't at their best?
Yeah.
I don't even understand a world where that's confusing. Where you could separate yourself from another type of person and flourish.
Yeah.
Because what happens then is that your society is unbalanced, and you're raising your kid. You think you're raising your kids in this utopia, but you're not preparing them for the real world. You're not encouraging everyone to thrive. You're making more jails. You're making prisons. You're not educating your youth so that they can grow up to not be good citizens that live with your children as adults. I don't understand the confusion there or the disagreement. I say this, I don't think it's up for debate. I think it's common sense. And so when we go to the polls and we say, you must go out and vote, now we got to get everyone who agrees with that sentiment to go vote. But the ones who are voting, who's voting against that sort of thing? It's safer, it's better, it's moral, it's more human. I get bogged down with it, and sometimes I go through the roof because I thought that's I knew that there was this minority of thinkers,
Yeah.
of people who were like, well, it's my way there, and I don't mean to sound like that because I'm
No, but I
from
know what you mean.
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's my way or the highway,
Yeah.
and you're out.
Yeah.
I thought that was in the, and it feels sometimes like, who are all of you?
Yeah. Absolutely. No, I have so many times that like, because there was a moment in my thinking, it's like, you know what, they're all those people of that mindset may be in their 80s and 90s. At some point they're not going to be with us anymore, and then we'll be better. And then you realize, oh no, they taught their children, and then their children taught their children. So there are 4 generations who are still of this same mindset that is like, it has to be about me, it has to be about us making this, and we don't care anything about anyone else. And at some point, we have to at least have leaders who don't think that way, so that they are pushing us in the right direction. But right now, we have not only citizens of the country who feel that way, but a good portion of our leaders are also apparently feeling that way, and we didn't know about it when we elected them.
Right,
And
right.
now we know, now we get to fix it.
Yeah, and I am hopeful about that. I'm hopeful with certain things going on, that there is a wake up call. There is a real stand up for morality and for humanity and for equality, and then we get somewhere with it. And the one thing I love about our business tea is I do feel, maybe it's not across the board, and again, maybe I'm naive, but I do feel like we all went into this business of the arts and of feeling, of reaching out, of educating ourselves about other types of life, and learning about. I do feel like we come together really well in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that growing up in Oklahoma, and of course I'm so proud of my state in so many ways. It raised me. I loved the things I learned there in many ways. But one thing I do know about that state is that if you don't know, then it doesn't exist in a way. And that's what part of the problem.
Yeah.
It's understanding, it's education, it's learning about the other, and I think that's what we need to. So our representatives, the people who speak for us in politics, have to be people that are not just representative of the feeling of that state, but actually the feeling of that state as it collides and intersects with all of the other members of this country, and that they can make change because they are educated.
No, so talking about Oklahoma, you had all of your education was in Oklahoma, and you studied with Florence Birdwell.
Mm-hmm.
Now, tell me about that experience, because she apparently has some hold on the bel canto singers of this age. And I mean, honestly, because I've always been a believer, like, if you have great classical technique, if the foundation is there, you can do anything. You can bend your voice and span through other areas. What was your time there like? What was the experience and her focus in the technique, and how you've been able to continue to sound the way you do after, with these years, and are you studying with someone now, or do you continue with what you learned from her?
Well, I've been continuing with what she taught me my whole life, and I will continue for the rest of my life. I have been studying with Gerald Moore, who is an opera teacher. He's about to take over the program at Yale. He's Renee Fleming's teacher, and when we did Merry Widow, she introduced me to him, and I started working with him from an operatic standpoint, and he's been absolutely invaluable. He's just so smart. And he's the first teacher that I've really kind of gelled with since Mrs. Birdwell. But she's still the biggest mentor I've ever had. It's not like she cornered any market. What I know from her, only my story, because we're all different. We're all born with different tools. We all filter it through our different emotional compass. The one thing I do know about her is that she was just relentless to get to the truth, always. There was no jazz hands. I mean, I've never been that kind of musical theater performer because I don't know how to be. That didn't exist. It was like, if you're going to say there's a word that goes with that what is it? Is it sex? Is it pain? Is it, everything had to come from some sort of truth. And I know this from other students of hers. It was relentless. I mean, she would beat you down if there was a false move in your singing, like a put on song, that, no, thank you. And she kind of ripped us apart that way, and when I stood back up, I felt like she built me new, and I've been trying to keep that for the last 25 years. I mean, I owe her everything. I didn't know any of that.
But you know it now. You know it now.
Well, I'm learning. I'm learning every day.
And so, what were some of your favorite songs growing up?
Favorite songs growing up? Well, I listened to a lot of stuff with my grandparents. It's like American Songbook, I just recently actually did this Christmas concert, and I had them for the first time do a big, huge arrangement. It was for the Mormon Tabernacle. It's next year. We filmed it of Nat King Cole's what's the Cradle in Bethlehem, which nobody knows. And I did it for my dad. We listened to his record with my grandparents probably, well, every single Christmas, every day of like the 3-week period we had off from school. We'd be at my grandparents. Frank Sinatra we listened to. My mom would play me Doris Day movies. I listened to Julie Andrews like it was like she was my savior. Like, I don't know, I saw something so familiar in her that I wanted to be. So all of her movie musicals, Shirley Jones. But I wasn't listening to musical theater like from the cast albums. Like even my mom had grown up with them. She didn't really do that. So I was watching movie musicals. So it was anything from a Doris Day movie to the records, like the American Songbook records, like I mentioned. And then sometimes I throw in a little country because I'm from Oklahoma. So I was sort of all over the place.
Yeah, I want to say I'm from North Carolina, and anytime I do something that has any country, and he's like, "Where's that coming?" It's like, "I'm from North Carolina. This is the part of who we are." It's like, so for me, it's like, whether it's studying classically in college and then musical theater and everything else, like it's such my musical influences are such a hodgepodge of things, and country and folk and bluegrass are part of that. And I mean, it's like you can't take those out of a person.
No, in fact, when I hear them, there's something nostalgic that happens to me, and I feel like a kid. And so my solo shows that I've been doing for 15 years with Dan Lipton, it's when I really go back and think about them, and I'm trying to build different shows, but every single song has a country bent. It has a bend to it. Like I was just singing a song, just Always, which is not country, and the whole first part is like and I know it's because that's my aesthetic. Like I go back to that and I think everything needs to have like you're under a tree, kind of sitting there looking at a field with like something sticking out of like a cord. And that is part of me, and the fancier it needs to be, the more nervous I get.
All right, because you always seem so comfortable and so at ease. Anytime I've seen you or on stage or in person, it's always so welcoming, and I think that's what people love about you so much. I think the last question for you is like, with all this, and we've kind of touched on, you've kind of answered it already, is like what part does faith or spirituality or having just a focus on a greater power have in your life? And I don't always, I am a follower of Christ, and I say that as opposed to Christian, because I think Christians have gotten a bad rap lately, and people have changed what it is. But the idea of that you're focused on the universe or God or whatever that is in your life.
Yeah, no, I mean, I grew up Catholic, and but what I grew, it's an interesting question, because I'm a person of great faith. I believe in God. I believe in something greater than myself. But I grew up Catholic in an area that was very, very not Catholic. So it was this weird kind of idea that I got from a way too young of an age to realize sort of the prejudice between religions, even in the Christian religion. I didn't understand it because I thought, well, are we all Christians?
Yeah.
I mean, I had this story in my family, which has been one of the really key things that kind of built who I am, which is that my grandmother, my dad's mother, was disowned at 18 years old by her family for the rest of her life in a small town. And I mean, when I tell you, she was 75 years old and her sister would see her at Walmart and turn, like from 18 to the day she died. And because she was Church of Christ and she was wanting to marry my grandpa, who was Catholic. So she gave up her family to marry my grandfather. And so religion became this sort of, it was a sense of strength. Like we said, we're gonna make her sacrifices. Okay. But at the same time, it taught me a real hatred for that sort of judgment or divide. And so as an adult, I did grow up Catholic. My kids sing in the church choir here. It's not a Catholic church, but I want the ritual. I want the faith. I want the idea that there is somebody to pay gratitude, or there's something to pay gratitude to, that it's not just us going out there and being awesome, and that's why good things happen to us. I don't believe in that. I believe that we are given gifts that we must work hard to earn. But I need to be grateful to God. I need to be grateful to something all the time, because I don't just pat myself on the back, about any accomplishment or anything good in my life. So faith, it plays a huge part in my life. I have faith that will come out of this time. I keep trying to have faith that, going back to the beginning of our conversation, that people will open their hearts. I keep trying to have faith that the right people will go to the polls. And, if I don't have that, I don't, some people might say that's an easy way out. And I think to myself, well, then so be it. Yeah. I love that strength that it gives me. But I guess my point is I don't call it something so that it is something that excludes any other person's version of faith.
Absolutely.
I'm open about it. I mean, my family are all Christians, and I've always thought of myself as a Christian, but it is of a very great open mind, where we are all under one God. We are all under one greater power.
Agreed. I cannot thank you enough for sitting down with me for a few minutes in the middle of a move, in the middle of everything that's going on, and just living your life. I thank you so much, Kelli. Thank you for being with me.
T, it's so nice to see you. We go back a long, long way.
We were babies. We were in preschool together.
we really were. And
yeah.
And, I actually, when I passed you at the Tonys last year, it's those moments. We're backstage, you're about to go on, I'm exiting, and I just look at it, it's almost tearful, a tear in my eye, just saying, we're here. We're still here. We started and we're going.
And I thought about it a lot in this last year, like, the fact that, like, there are so few career people, Broadway people, because so many come in and out in a year, in 5 years, and then they move on to other things. But to have found the calling, and to be able to say that this is what I am here for.
Yeah.
To make this art, to be a magic maker, to be, an artist, and to take the good and the bad that comes with that.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, sticking around has its challenges. I mean, we're very lucky to be invited to the party. So I feel like we work hard to stick around and deserve it. And it does a lot for other people, not just us, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, please continue to be as wonderful as you've always been to me. I love you.
I love you too, T. Thanks.
Wake up, it's the morning. Wake up, the day is dawning. Wake up, it's time to spill the tea. So everybody's gotta wake up, wake up, wake up. It's the morning. Wake up, the day is dawning. Wake up, it's time to spill the tea. So everybody's gotta wake up, wake up.